Hey everyone, and welcome to Mad About Film. Today I'm going to review very quickly Justice League because I saw it last night and I'd like to tell you what I think about it. Let's have a look at the trailer.
I can't remember.
We're asking people we don't know to risk their lives.
Strong man is strongest alone. You ever heard that?
That's not a saying. That's the opposite of what the saying is.
And the dark side of our head.
Divided. We are not enough.
And we can't, as though nothing can fall.
The world needs Superman.
We can be heroes.
I made him a promise.
Just for
This is why I brought you together.
Ride ain't over yet.
My man. Let's do it. All right.
So Justice League, I mean essentially it's a comic book superhero film. I am getting a little bit of comic book hero fatigue. I know that there's a comic book film around the corner, around the next corner, around the next corner, and around the next corner. So we've got, Black Panther coming up. We've just had Thor Ragnarok. Justice League's just started. There's obviously going to be Justice League 2. There'll be an Aquaman spin-off. There might be a Cyborg Flash spin-off. It'd be cool if they did Cyborg and Flash spin-off together. But anyway, just to kind of like consolidate a little bit. But this is the emblem and the start of the DC franchise, where essentially it's the first superhero team-up that's pretty similar to the Avengers. So what do we have as the premise in the story? I'm sure you've all seen it by now anyway, but and I hope to give away no spoilers. But following the death of Superman in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, obviously Superman's dead, but we all know from the CGI horrors and the mustache things that essentially that Superman's going to be coming back in this film. He does come back in this film, but more of him later. So Batman essentially is sensing a threat, that another worldly threat from another world. Obviously, typically of a superhero film, there's a threat to the world, and our team of superheroes have to actually save it. The whole combination of this film is basically an intro, kind of a montage piece to actually introduce all the characters into this film. So that's basically the first half of the film. So we get Wonder Woman, obviously, who's done really well in the Patty Jenkins version of Wonder Woman, coming into the Zack Snyder franchise of this whole DC universe. And Batman and Wonder Woman obviously get introduced and they kind of meet each other. And then they meet the Flash, played by Ezra Miller, and then they kind of meet a guy called Cyborg, who is basically a character called Victor Stone from the comics, and it's Silas Stone who's the daddy, the big daddy of Star Labs, and Victor Stone, his son, who becomes Cyborg through his origin story, and then Aquaman, played by Aquaman, also introduced to the franchise, played by Jason Momoa from Game of Thrones, who previously played Drogo. But anyway, so that's the team. You've got Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. And at this point, obviously at the beginning of the film, Superman is not part of the team. And so this is the main major problem with the film. The film itself, I actually really enjoyed it. I'm a comic book hero fan. I love the old comics. I've read Justice League for quite some time, since I was a kid. And, for what it is, and for what the film it is as a whole, it's not a bad film. The comedy aspects of the film are really good, and I actually thought the dialogue was quite good, and the characters and bringing them together, and there was a whole idea of the seriousness in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, which was a bit too much for fans, and this one is quite clearly funnier and more succinct in terms of the dialogue, and in that sense, it's really, really good. My main problem with the film is that there really is not much of a plot. It's just another worldly beast called Steppenwolf, played by Kieran Hines. And in terms of CGI characters, this CGI character is pretty bad. Last time I saw CGI this bad was probably in Man of Steel, when you had Zod, and the whole fight battle scene at the end of Man of Steel, and that kind of whole CGI situation is it's just gone up to 11 on this actual in this film. But the point is that I guess the baddie is not as important as bringing the team together and introducing the characters and actually establishing the kind of universe that they want to take forward, going forward into the movie franchise. I think that the film isn't bad. I just sometimes wonder, like, what did people expect from it? Because I think it's actually a very good film for a superhero film, for a superhero canon. Obviously, you had Zack Snyder kind of like, sort of like putting the project to the side because of a family crisis himself. And Joss Whedon took over in terms of directing the actual film and also kind of doing the reshoots, which were kind of shot in July of this year, which is, you know, a bit late stage and all the rest. But essentially, I guess it was needed as from his point of view. But if there is an injection of Joss Whedon into this film, I definitely feel like the dialogue really works really, really well. So, is it good? Yes, I think it's good. It's a superhero film. You're not going to get much more else from it. If you want to have some mindless fun and actually kind of enjoy meeting the characters that you've always wanted to see on the screen, it's done really, really well. My one problem with this film is that there is just too much CGI. And so when there is a superhero film with too much CGI, it takes away from the whole dynamism of the actual story arc, the narrative, and the film itself. And, you know, magic realism, all that kind of stuff, the CGI just, if it's awful, it kind of shows. And there's one very specific thing that shows in this film, which is pretty bad. It is the digital removal of Henry Cavill's mustache in this film. It is disgusting, it's horrible. I don't know how much they paid for it, it's just horrible. I don't like it, it just really, really puts me off. And the fact is that you can just, it's just not done well. And you kind of think, well, they must have done it very quickly for it to be passable to be able to get the film out. I personally think the audience will come to this film on the actual DVD sales of it, or the Blu-ray DVD sales of it, the Blu-ray sales of the film, and essentially I think it will probably, you know, prove to be popular with fans. Lack of absence of Green Lantern in this film, but who knows, he's probably going to come down in the later stages of the franchise. The best thing in this film is actually some of the characters. So Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is really good in this film. I mean, she looks stunning naturally, and she's really good as Wonder Woman. And there was a point actually where you have Batman as the leader, and there's this kind of leader, kind of sort of who's the leader of this team and all the rest. And it's basically Batman, between Batman and Wonder Woman, because Superman's not there yet. And is he a leader yet? Well, he's not. He's dead. He's in a box. But obviously, no spoilers. But you need to see the film. You kind of know he comes back. But there was a moment during the film where Wonder Woman faces off with Batman, and I kind of thought that's kind of reminiscent of Iron Man against Captain America in Captain America Civil War, where they're talking about, you know, the right of understanding how we save innocence against, you know, what's the right thing to do in terms of technology, and how we can kind of, you know, if there's a threat to the world, what should we do to save it? So Ben Affleck was playing the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man kind of Batman role, and Gal Gadot was playing the Wonder Woman stroke Captain America, let's look after the innocence role. So there's kind of similarities between Avengers and this kind of like forming of a team. But all in all, I'm glad to see that the characters are up on screen. Ben Affleck is good as Batman. Gal Gadot is brilliant as Wonder Woman. She's probably one of the highlights of the film. The comedy comes in the form of Ezra Miller's Flash, and he plays Barry Allen. And I do think that they just got him right. They did him really, really well. And Cyborg, who's actually been one of my favourite characters from the comic, I'm glad he's getting a full screen debut in this, and he's played really well by Ray Fisher. One other notable performance was Billy Crudup as Ezra Miller's dad. Sorry, the Flash's dad. Something Allen, Daddy Allen, and essentially. But Billy Crudup plays a really good role in this film. The thing I struggle with the most with the DC universe is the fact that Zack Snyder is involved with this universe. When you look back at the Christopher Nolan films and you know how DC gave that reign to him as a director, he really took Batman to another level. And also Patty Jenkins obviously did a really, really good job with Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman is, you know, sort of breaking box office records as well. So the point is that why does Justice League seem to be bombing all the time? It's because they put these mindless kind of crash bang wallop kind of situations going on with Zack Snyder at the helm, and I kind of feel if they just changed up the directors a few more times, that would actually bring more of a directorial vision to the franchise as a whole, to DC films, and actually you could have really interesting tones, and that's what Marvel is doing right and DC is doing wrong. They're not taking much more of a risk, and if you just lay if you lay the style of the franchise at Zack Snyder's feet, he's just gonna, you know, Zack Snyder it all over it, if that makes sense. It's not a very good analogy, but anyway, you know, I think you need more directors to make the DC universe kind of grow and expand, because you need those visions. So for me, Justice League gets 3 out of 5, and yeah, go see it. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's a superhero film. What else do you want? Stop criticising it and basically just enjoy it. It's just mindless fun, and that's what it should be. The story is just irrelevant, but seeing the actual kind of comic book characters come together, that's really the point. If you enjoyed that review, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It'd be great to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think about Justice League and each of the characters. And if you'd like to see another film, just click up here, or basically just have a look around the channel. That'd be great. See you soon.